The children definitely knew who Thug and Future were. They were big fans. They had the time of their life until they had to use the bathroom. All right, and I gotta pee. And then when one kid has to use the bathroom, it's like contagious, man. And they made a little joke. They said, Gabe, we tell you ain't got no kids. Cause I was like, no, we can't use the bathroom. We just got it right. Yeah.
I don't want it if it ain't meant. I smell codeine when I piss. I'm on it, I can't forget.
This is what you don't know about me. 85 to 95% of my videos, I never talk to the artist. Never talk to Thug, never talk to Future. I don't even know if Thug voice sound like we be together a lot, but he says very few words. They have mutual respect for each other's craft. Thug is a genius. The insecurity of Thug's world, of being unaccepted or misunderstood, you need someone who's poised. You know, it's almost a codependent relationship, but the music that we get benefits us.
I don't want it if it ain't meant. I smell codeine when I piss.
When you approach visuals in music videos, you can be literal, right? You can go for what the words are saying, but then you can also have metaphors. And I feel like this video was a metaphor for abortion. Because if you think about group homes, right, that's like the alternative to abortions. And kids at some point start to think about that. Why am I here? And so this is literally a dream of one of the kids.
Say my new tone, earth tone, I can't do wrong. We change the weather, stick together like we from the group home.
You have the bodies here that represent the abortions, you know, people that didn't make it. I want this scene to represent the dungeon, the forgotten, the have-not. That sets this performance up for him. You know, it's just somewhere where it's just dark and lonely. And that reflects the kids that are like, you know, they literally are suicidal in these group homes. But then in the middle, you have a dove. That's hope. This is amazing. This is Grace. This is what I called them on set, because I'm horrible with names. And there was so many kids out there. I don't work with kids a lot. I don't have children, so I'm ultra sensitive around them. In fact, I'm uncomfortable around children. But these kids were so responsive to my direction. In fact, these kids were 2 steps ahead of me. Oh, you want me to stand here? And then like, I said, yeah, that's it. Like, they got it. Hopefully you got some sort of Marvel, superhero, X-Men vibe from it, because that's exactly what I was going for.
Fuck these niggas, I'm kicking them out the loop, whoa. Cause you got a plain Jane Paddock and it's two-tone.
I had to figure out a way to incorporate Thug's performance and tie him into the world. But at the time, I hadn't figured out that I wanted to do the glow, you know. I just knew in Fellini, he had the rope. And it's simple. It's just, you know, Thug holds a rope and the girl is floating in the sky. Pretty much the girl is so powerful that you need someone here that knows her power and doesn't let her be a victim of her own power. I had a stunt crew and they rigged her up. They had a forklift. So she's been in the air, freezing, in a thin-ass tutu, right? With no shoes on. Literally every take, this girl broke out crying, every take. I had to go over there and act like, I felt like Oprah Winfrey. I had to give her a hug, I had to encourage her. Like, it really brought my sensitive side out.
I robbed a nigga in broad day like the first day I had Jacoby.
They spent maybe an hour just looking and staring at this set. And I knew I had him. I'm like, okay, I got him. I say, Thug, what do you want me to put on the wall? Because I know you got several names now. He told me put Jeffrey. And when he walks out, his order is on the wall. So when he looked at it, now he's engaged. No, he's a part of the process. This deer I know is kind of like gruesome, and I've heard people say it was sick. But the free band birds are feasting, right, on the deer. Now the birds are fake, but the deer was actually practical. And in Georgia, they have a lot of fake deers. And I went to the prop house, and what I like to do is I like to go to the prop house myself. I don't send a art director there. I actually go in and I art direct myself.
I put a paddock in.
This is the shot that says group home. And I felt corny. I was like, why would they want to be in a shot with kids? But that's just, you know, me being scared to be great and pushing people past that level of comfort. Because I know if I thought it, people would think it at home. But that's where you want to be at. You want to push people past your comfort zone.
Yeah.
What's funny is we went to the studio the day after we shot this video. I just happened to be in Miami the next day. They were in Miami. Future had really like gave me this lecture of all lectures about just how we started to where we at now. And he'd been watching what I've been doing, and he's just been getting on my case, just being a big brother. And Thug just was ad-libbing, like, yeah. That was the only conversation we had after the video. We talked about the process, because it was a cool process.
Say my new tone, earth tone, I can't do wrong. We change the weather, stick together like we from the group home.